Hello guys, my name is Siddhanshu Kapoor. I am your instructor. So today we talk about a new Azure service name is known as Autoscaling. Okay, so today we talk about Azure Autoscaling. Okay, so let's start guys. So first we need to understand what is scaling. Okay, so we talk about we understand first what is scaling. Now scaling means what? Scaling is known as, you can say that the simple meaning of scaling is increase increased or decrease the resource as per the requirement, as per the load, you can say that, as per the requirement, you can say that, or load, you can say that. Okay, requirement or load. Okay, so now if we talk about what is scaling, so scaling is what? It's a increase or decrease the resources, increase or decrease the resources as per the requirement or load. Okay, so like how we need to understand first, like imagine that I have two virtual servers. I have two virtual machines which is running in my Azure portal, and these two are servers. Okay, I have two application servers. You can say that this is app server 1, and I have second server is known as app server 2. Okay, like this. Okay, now you can say that I'm using the two app servers. These two app servers provide the app, or you can say distribute the app. Okay, so whatever users I have, like imagine I have 500 users in my network. So all those users are access these app servers and access the apps after that. Okay, now what happens in that case? Like imagine what happens. Like imagine that after 15 days. Okay, after 15 days, after deploy this, you can say that today I deploy this app servers, and after 15 days, okay, these app server is CPU utilization is running very high. Like imagine this app server utilization is 80%. 80% this app server CPU utilization is there. CPU utilization. Okay, so this app server running in this kind of CPU utilization. Okay, and imagine that this app server also is running the same utilization. You can say that we have again this app server also have a CPU utilization of 80%. Now these two app servers, you can say that after 15 days what happens, my users has some load. You can say that I have right now I have 500 users. Now we have 1000 users are accessing this app servers and accessing the app at the same time. So what happens in that case? Our CPU utilization is high in that case. Okay, now what we need, what can I do for after this? For decreasing the virtualization, decreasing the CPU utilization, what I do, I place one more, you can say that I placed one more virtual machine, one more server. Okay, and that server is known as app server 3. I deploy manually, you can say that I deploy one more app server 3. Okay, and now I go for load balancing, and you can say that I distribute the load, okay, between these three app servers. Okay, you can say that after that what happens again, this server also has a same utilization. Again this server also has 80% utilization. Now I can deploy another server. You can say that after 10 to 15 days again I can deploy another server. This is known as app server 4. So we can deploy manually, you can say that. Okay, so manually I can deploy the servers first, and then manually deploy the load balance. We can use load balancer, we can use internal load balancer, external load balancer, whatever load balancer we can deploy. Okay, and we can deploy these things. Okay, so it's very difficult to me to manage all the loads. Okay, so what happens in that case? Azure gives you this, the feature name is scaling. Okay, so in that scaling feature, CPU automatically balance the load. I don't do anything in that case. Okay, so the feature name is auto scaling. You can say that auto scaling. Auto scaling means it's automatically decrease or increase the resources as per the requirement or load. Okay, like imagine now we can go for another example. Like imagine that now we have again two app servers. Okay, now I'm using auto scaling on those two app servers. Okay, I'm using the feature auto scaling. I have implement auto scaling over there. I'm implement already auto scaling over there. Okay, so what happens in auto scaling? What happens in auto scaling? Like now imagine that this app, these two app servers has again the CPU utilization, and now it's going to again 80%. Like imagine these two servers has running 80% use of CPU utilization. So 80% now again. So what happens in that case? Now these both these servers has a CPU utilization percentage is 80 now. Okay. So what happens in that case? Azure automatically make you Azure automatically make another virtual machine, another app server. It's automatically done by Azure. Okay. It's automatically make another app server. Okay, and they distribute the load automatically. Okay. Now imagine that this is my app 3, app server 3, and it's automatically created by Azure with the help of auto scaling feature. Okay, so now imagine that sometimes what happens in that case, this machine also has a 80% of utilization because I have so many network traffic. Okay, so what happens? Azure automatically make another server for you. Okay, I'm not creating manually in that case. It's automatically creating by Azure. Okay, so we can go for this server 4 in that case. Okay, fine. So like this. So in auto scaling, you can say that your Azure minimum we can use 1 VM, and maximum we can go for 1000 VMs or instances. You can say that instances of VM is the same thing. Okay, so we can go for 1 minimum and maximum is 1000. Okay, so this is the increasing way we can go for that. Like imagine that I can set over there. I can set that, okay, if my now we have conditions, we can set the conditions also. Okay, we have two types of condition in that case. We have a scale out condition. Okay, scale out condition, and we have scale in condition. Okay, now in scale out condition, what we can define? We can define the when Azure is increasing your virtual machines, your servers. Okay, what happens? I can set over there. Okay, if my CPU utilization of my virtual machine is goes up to 80%. Okay, CPU goes up to 80%. You need to increase the virtual machines automatically. Okay, or second condition is if my CPU below 30%, you can say that all the virtual machines have the CPU below 30%. Now it's automatically decrease the virtual machines also. One by one, it's decreasing the virtual machines. Okay, fine. So that is what we have: scale out and scale in. So we can define the condition in scale out and scale in. Okay, in scale out, we can define the condition that okay, if I have 80% utilization to all my virtual machines, so you can increase the virtual machines. Okay, and we can scale in also. That scale means decrease the virtual machines. So when it decrease, when if you have if you have 30% of utilization in all the virtual machines, so it's decreasing one by one. It increasing one by one also, and it's decreasing one by one also. Okay, we can define the conditions also. Okay, so that is what we have a scaling. So auto scaling is a feature in Azure. So it's automatically increase your virtual machines, virtual servers, and decrease your virtual servers as per the load, as per the requirement. Okay, so I hope you will understand this. Now we have two types of, you can say that types of auto scaling. So we have two types of auto scaling in Azure. Okay, number one is horizontal, and number second we have vertical. Okay, in horizontal, what happens? Your Azure is automatically increase and decrease the resources. Okay, which I already told you. Okay, so by default we are using horizontal auto scaling. Okay, if you want to use vertical auto scaling, so in vertical auto scaling, what happens? Your machines are same. It's not increasing your virtual machines or virtual servers. It increasing the virtual servers capacity over there. Okay, now in vertical, what happens? You can say that, like imagine I have only 2 servers. Okay, so in that 2 servers, like imagine these 2 servers are running like this server has, like imagine this server has 2 CPU. Okay, we have 2 processors. Okay, and 8 GB of RAM. in this 8 GB of RAM. Okay, these two applications, app server 1 and app server 2, two processors and 8 GB of RAM. Okay, now what happens? My load is increasing. Now my processor again go to CPU utilization is 80% now. So what happens in that case? It's not increasing the virtual machines now, virtual servers. It's increasing the memory or the processors. Now you can say that right now I'm working on 2 processors. Now it increased to 2 to 4 processors and increased 8 to 16 GB of RAM. You can say that like this. Okay, so in vertical, it's not increasing the virtual servers, it's increasing the capacity of virtual servers. But in horizontal, it's not increasing the capacity, it's increasing the virtual servers. Understood? Okay, so that is why we have two types of autoscaling, horizontal and vertical. Okay, so that's what we have a theory part of autoscaling. Okay, I hope you're able to understand the theory part. Now we can go for practical. So for practical, what we need for auto scaling practical, we need number one, we need to create virtual machine scale set. Okay, we need to scale. We need to create one scale set. Okay, we need to define scale out, scale in conditions and everything in that scale set. Number second, we can go for one create resource group. Resource group. Okay, we need to go create resource group. And number third, we need to go for create one VNet. Okay, so we need to create three things: VM, scale out, scale set, sorry, resource group, and VNet one. We need to make one virtual network. Okay, understood this? Okay, so let's start the practical, guys. So this is my portal, as you can see that. So I first choose search my scale set. Okay, so you can see that virtual machine scale sets are there. You need to click on this. Okay. Now I am going to add the virtual machine scale set, so click on add over there. Okay, now I need to define everything now. So it's create a virtual machine scale set. So it's the resource group first. So I'm going to create a resource group because I don't have a resource group right now. So this is for scaling -RG. I give the name of this this resource group is this. Okay. Now I need to give this the virtual machine skill set name. So it's for auto scaling 1. Okay, I give this name auto scaling 1. Okay, and I'm using in East US. Okay, you can use any go for any location. Okay, so we can use East US. Okay, now you can see that we have the availability zone also. So you can define the availability zone over there also. Okay, you can define this availability zone, that what availability zone you want. Okay, so we should discuss already. So how many availability zone you want? So I don't want to define any availability zone right now. I need to give the image. So I want server 2016 data center. Okay, and the size of this is automatically taken is 2 virtual CPUs and 8 GB of RAM. Okay, now I need to give the username and password. Okay, administrator 1. I need to give the password. Okay, now simply click on next over there. Now they're asking me the disk again, the premium SSD disk we have. Okay, click on next, networking. In networking we can go for virtual, so it's automatically created one virtual network for you. Okay, if you don't want to create automatic virtual, so you can create a manual virtual network also. Okay, so it's automatically taking one virtual, it's automatically creating one virtual network for you, scaling RGBNet. So we can use automatic one. Okay, if you want to create manually, so you can go for create a manual also. Okay, so I'm using this default. Okay, and simply click on next, scaling. So now in scaling we can go for instance count 2. So minimum instance we need. Instance means how minimum VM you need. Okay, so minimum we need 2 VMs. Okay, I tell my scaling auto scaling feature that minimum we need 2 VMs. Okay, maximum we can define over there. So minimum I can use 2. Okay, you can change the number also. You can go for like if you minimum you want 4 virtual machines. So 4 virtual machine is already running. You can say that. If you need requirements, so it increasing above 4 virtual machines like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 like this. So minimum is running. Okay, so I using 2 minimum. So my 2 is running. You can say that. Okay, and rest is running automatically. Okay, so scaling policy you can define manually also. You can go for custom. So click on custom. Okay, if you click on custom scaling policy, so we can define the VMs. So you can say that by minimum VM I can define over there 2 to go for 2, and the maximum we can go for 10 VMs. Okay, so in my case I can use 10. You can use how much? You can use 100 also, you can use 1000 also. Okay, so you can use 1000 also, not more than that. Like if I go for 1001, okay, by setting maximum number of VMs over 100, you are scaling this, you are enabling the skill set to scale to multiple placement groups. Okay, so we can minimum of maximum of 100 for if you go to above 100, so we need to create we need to create multiple skill sets. Okay, like imagine if I have 500 machines, so we need to create 5 virtual machine skill sets. Okay, because in one skill set we can use only maximum of 100 virtual machines, not more than that. Okay, so in that case we can use 10. Okay, in my case I'm using 10. Now they're asking me the scale out. Now scale out means when he increased the virtual machine. Okay, and when my CPU threshold is 75%, so I go for 80%. You can say that 85. Okay, when my CPU utilization is 85%, it's automatically create one more virtual machine for me. Okay, the duration in minutes is 10 minutes. Okay, number of VMs to increase by one by one. So I want to increase the VM one by one. Not like if I imagine that if I go for 2, so it's automatically make 2 virtual machines at the same time. So I don't want to make 2. I want to go for one by one. Okay, one virtual machine. If that machine is also have a load, then go for next. Create another machine, another virtual machine like this. Okay, so scale out means it increase the machines one by one. Okay, and scale in means when it decrease the machines when all the virtual machines has 35% of CPU utilization. Like imagine now I have 4 virtual machines. Then all 4 virtual machines like I have minimum 2 virtual machines is mine. It's already working, and Azure is automatically get 2 more virtual machines for me. Okay. Now what happens after some time, after 15-20 days? What happens? The CPU load is balanced now. Now every virtual machine has only 35% of CPU usage. Okay. So what happens in that case? It's automatically decrease the virtual machine one by one. Okay, so like this is the go for that. Now I go for diagnostic tools also. Like if you want to diagnose your Autoscale, you can enable the diagnose also. They gives you the logs, they maintain the logs, they maintain the alerts. You can see that go for that. If you want to enable it, you can enable it also. Okay, choose the workspace or the subscription. Okay, so choose workspace from different subscriptions. So if you have a different subscription, if you have a paid subscription, then you can use this option also. Right now I don't have a paid subscription, so I go for disable right now. Okay, now simple click on next management. So I don't want, so in scaling you will understand that we need to set the threshold, we need to set the scale out policy, we need to set the scale in policies also. Okay. Okay, so in management they ask me the monitoring. So if you want monitoring, so I don't want any monitoring right now. Okay, I don't want any monitoring tools and all. Click on next, health. Okay, so you can see that they're monitoring the application health also. If you want to enable, you can enable this also. That okay, if you go for application server, so what's the protocol you're using? What's the port number you are using? They define the port number and the protocol which you're using in the application. Okay, and you need to define the application health over there. So they're mentioning all the health also. They monitor your application health also. And if you have any issues, any error in your applications, that they're showing you. Okay, so right now I don't want to do that. You can disable it. You can enable it. You can enable it also. Okay, if you want to monitor your application health, you can enable it also. So in that case, you need to define the protocol. You need to define the port number. Okay, now I don't want to use this. Click on simple advanced. Okay. Okay, so now they're asking you allocation policies, enable scaling beyond 100 instances. Okay, so they tell that okay, if you want to allocate the policy to all the 100 instances, you can click on yes. Right, but right now I don't have any. Right now I don't have 100 instances. I have only 2 instances. 2 instances means I have only 2 virtual machines. I don't want to deploy all this for 100 instances. If you have, you can go for that. Okay, fine. So now simple click on next. Tag. Okay, so I need to give the tag name over there, and this is for scale. Okay, scale set. Click on review. Okay, so now it's it's running the final validation. If everything is fine, okay, they give me the create option. You can see that the validation is passed. Now click on create now. So now I'm going to create the virtual machine scale set. Okay. Okay. So as you can see that the deployment is completed now. So I'll go for home and click on virtual machine scale sets. Okay. So as you can see that we have 2 instances which is automatically which is succeeded. So now click on this auto scaling. okay, and click on instance over there. So as you can see that we have instances running, and it's creating and it's running already. Okay, fine, the status is running, and you can click on networking. So in click on networking, so they gives you all the information about inbound rules, outbound rules, and what network we're using right now. Okay, we're using right now by default scaling RGVNet. Okay, our network is using right now. If you click on scaling, so in scaling, whatever we can configure. Okay, we can go for manual scaling, custom scaling. Okay, we can go for resource group. This is my resource group. Account to instance. Okay, so it's showing you everything which we have. Okay, see, minimum, the instance limit is 2, minimum is 2, maximum is 10, default is 2. Okay, so you can increase also. Like if you want to increase, you can increase also. Like if you want to add some condition, okay, another condition, or you want to increase the limits, you can increase or decrease the limits as well. Right now I have minimum 2 instance. You want okay, I need minimum 4 instance, so you can increase or decrease the things also. Okay, now operating system, you click on operating system. So we have this showing you that we have a Windows Server operating system. The server operating system is 2016 we are using right now in this. Okay, so we go for Autoscale. Okay, computer name prefix is Autoscale, username is administrator1. Okay, so it's automatically scale the instance. Okay, so this is thing we have. Okay, you can go for size also. So click on size, so that gives you you can choose another disk also. Right now we are using DS2 version 2 like this. Okay, in that we have 2 virtual machines and 8 GB of RAM. Okay, if you want to change the size of the VM size, you can change the VM size also. You can resize the VM also in that case. Okay, so that's what that's what how we can go for this. Okay, so you can just showing you, see, if you click on overview for your virtual machine auto scale set. Okay, so they're showing you that we have a scale set name. Okay, and the size of this operating system windows. Okay, and the subscription location where we can create. Okay, so they gives you all the information like this. This is the way how we can create or configure auto scaling in Azure. Okay, so I hope you understand these things. I hope you understand this video, guys. Okay, if you have any doubt, any questions, comment me. Okay, I'm here to solve your questions. I am here to give you answers. Okay, and please like and share the video. Okay, and thank you for watching, guys.